Hi, Scott. Jeff here. I saw on your Facebook post the link to the article about Meta, Facebook, that's now starting to lay off workers and terminating 60 contractors. And I want to give a different perspective on this because I think this is a really key thing. I mean, right now there's the whole fear of the economic you know kind of downturn. Okay, again. And there are a lot of companies that are kind of foreseeing that. Big companies. I mean, I work for a big company, right? So big software company too. So I kind of see this, and I see this in kind of right now. It's not the right time to look for another job, right? So because of the potential downturn, economic downturn, all that. And there's a lot of different views about that. But here, the article, and this article in the Daily Mail from the UK is giving this impression that they're laying off workers. Well, not really. At least I want to give a different perspective on this. From working with a big company in software that deals with this kind of stuff, right? So there are layoffs, and there can be like planned layoffs of usually you have to have a reason to do the layoff. Okay, you have to. There are different reasons. Okay, so you usually can't do a layoff in like the UK or other countries. I want to make a distinction here, okay? Unless you have an economic reason to do that, and then you have to have a plan. And then you got to take 3 months. You can't get over it. The United States is a lot different, right? It's a different kind of way of doing things. You can fire people, get rid of people the next day and the same day, and not have a reason, right? But there's another factor in this, and I want to bring this up, and I think it's really important. Is what's known as kind of it's really called it's a regular thing, happens every year, and it's called headcount cost reduction target. Okay, so you have to target having a headcount reduction. And what that means is that you have to cut costs on headcount, that's personnel, and you have a target of how many people you need to, how many full-time equivalent people, FTE people, that you have to reduce in the overall department or division or whatever. Okay. And sometimes it's at a division level, and then you have to kind of split that up and decide who down in which departments, who are going to be the people that are going to be let go. And this target, the usual way of doing this is starting with contractors because they're the easiest people to let go and to not continue, and then you'll do it again when you got money again, and we can increase your headcount. See, it's all about negotiating budget for headcount. That is the people, number of people that can work on the project. And since these are third party, externalized or outsourced work, insourced or outsized work, or work is insourced if they come and work inside, or outsourced, or what do you want? They're these people to let go because they don't have a permanent contract. Okay, so there's all that to pay into it. So I got a little noise here. I'm in a restaurant, but and then you just usually try to avoid having to let go of the people that are permanent. But contractors, I mean, it's known. This is kind of a regular thing. I mean, I used to work for a services company too, engineering service company, but I worked in the States too for Caterpillar. You don't know how long your contract's going to be. You don't know. It just depends on how long that project's to go for. That's life. That's just life, and you go into the job knowing it. And sometimes you get paid a little bit better because you're going to be in this project that doesn't have security. You don't have all the benefits of the company that you're working for, right? And then even there might be some contracts where you have short-term contracts. You might have here in French, you have a different. You have you get them 6 month, 9 month contracts, and then you have permanent. And the shorter contracts, you get more money because you're not going to be a full-time employee. So, and then finally you want to get permanent. Sometimes actually people don't want to become permanent because they're making more money if they don't become permanent in some ways. But I think it's really important to distinguish because 60 contractors for a company, that's nothing. I mean, letting go. Now, these are 60 contractors. That means 60 people in the company of how many hundreds of thousands of people, right? This is not a layoff. This is a headcount cost. This is likely a headcount cost reduction target, right? We need to get rid of a certain amount of people because we need to do, and this is a regular thing. There's no need, even in other countries, and even in socialized countries, to have a reason for this. This is just, well, you do, but I mean, it's not like it's a massive layoff, right? Which would be a whole different thing. And here it said the layoffs were introduced during a conference call. They were not immediately offered new jobs or transferred by Accenture because it's a short-term contract. This is just how it is. I mean, whenever I take jobs, I think about this. I just think about the stuff not. So, and Accenture, if they're working for Accenture, they need to. That's what it is. I mean, it just depends how long you're going to work from, and they need to be thinking about in this downturn time. This is hard. Now here to Apple, let go of about 100 recruiters. Now that's different. That's a lot more people because 100 recruiters are going to be hiring for jobs, right? So that's a lot more people. That's a few more people that are kind of the central people that are recruiting for them to find other people, right? And then talking about okay, they're going to weed out underperforming employees with aggressive performance reviews. Yeah, I mean this is kind of normal. I mean, performance reviews, KPIs. I mean, this is regular stuff, right? That doesn't surprise me. If you can't show you're doing something, then they're going to replace you with somebody else. And that's how you weed out people. Yeah, I'm not against that. I mean, if you just wanted people to sit in front of a desk and do nothing, no, that isn't going to work in any country. It depends, right? But I think it's really important here to make this distinguished and see if it's a headcount reduction target. You're targeting for a certain percentage of people that have to be let go for the year to be able to keep with it. And that headcount thing too, it kind of works in certain ways. You have movement around. You can they do movement. Companies do movement of moving people from one department to another to deal with their headcount reduction. Okay, I mean this can happen, or moving people, from one division to another to kind of handle that thing, or to not accept they can't accept people coming in from another department because they're in a headcount reduction kind of cycle. They need to wait 6 months, so they might take you on as kind of a borrowed person until they get through their headcount reduction. They try to increase their headcount to get it, and then you can be a full-time employee in their department, right? So it's moving between this factors in. I've seen this, so this is nothing new. But I think it's really important to distinguish between them, and this is not a massive layoff, not yet, right? I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I'm saying this is not a major problem here for 60 people out of how many hundreds of thousands of people. I work for a software company that has 100,000 employees, plus it has probably 100,000 partners. So I mean, we have a lot of people working with us and in the company. So this is not alarming to me. Now, it's alarming to people's lives. I'm not saying that's not different. People need to have jobs. I fully understand that and agree that people need to, but they need to think about kind of the job they're in and what they're going to do and the kind of places they're going to work for and all that. And in some industries, it's less job security as they are there, and sometimes you can move around. Software industry, you can move around and do other stuff, so that makes it possible. And Accenture and others are not going to be immediately put people on other projects. They're going to need to find them, right, and use it as Accentures and those kind of companies. They're basically software engineering, services companies. They're looking for projects, so they need to find the projects to hire people. And right now, it's going to be a hard thing to fire people to find projects for this. But I just want to give a different point of view. I'm not denying that it's not an important thing, but I think it's important to distinguish that. And I think that the Daily News kind of making a big thing about what is just headcount reduction possibly. So a target has to be met for every year. And if the departments are better at selling the idea of having more headcount, that's a whole other thing, right? So, but have a good day. Hey, take care.